Boom! What's up, Waves Capital? It's Royce Jacob, and welcome back to the channel. In this video, I'll be talking to you guys about why I believe WAVE2 for some of our favorite stocks in cryptocurrencies is officially upon us. And of course, we'll also be discussing some upside price targets as well for the second wave that I believe is very likely to persist into the new month of February. Okay, so gonna keep this one simple today, gonna be sticking strictly to the charts, but it will be a little different in the sense that we will be covering one crypto equity or one crypto stock and one cryptocurrency. Those two, of course, being our number ones in the sectors. Riot Platforms, always want to call it Riot Blockchain, but we will be discussing Riot Platforms and Render token today because both of these are looking amazing. And once again, I'm not only a long-term holder of the two of these, I'm also a trader as well. So I want to talk to you guys about some of my upside target ranges and where I might be taking some short-term profits on these plays, primarily call options on Riot. Okay, so that's the video today, you guys. Again, we will be discussing Riot and Render on the charts, but of course, we do have to kick it off by talking Bitcoin because the price action of the king will heavily impact that of the cryptocurrency market as a whole, and of course, Bitcoin mining stocks like Riot Platforms. Okay, so let's kick it off with the king. Before we do, you guys, please give the video a like if you're as pumped about some of the price action that we've been seeing as I am. Let me know in the comments down below if you have been ride, if you rode the first wave up, if you're ready to ride the second wave up, and of course, cheers if you did. Okay, so I'll see you guys in the comments downstairs. Always love celebrating with you guys. And lastly, subscribe to the channel if you're new around here and want to keep up with all the progress made on the waves that I believe will come over the course of 2023. Okay, appreciate all of you. Let's dive into some technicals. So Bitcoin looking amazing over the course of this past weekend and looking really, really strong as we head into the month of February. Okay, again, wave 2 is here. If there is something that we've learned on this channel in coining our good old two-wave theory, our two-wave pattern, is the fact that a lot of times the second wave is greater than the first one. Okay, the second wave, we've always called them tsunamis the second time around. And although, given the macro backdrop, I'm not sure if it will be a tsunami. I don't think we're going to see some of that crazy parabolic new all-time high price action. I do still think the second wave will be greater than the first one. And again, once again, I still think there's more upside ahead as we close out the month of January. All right. So anyway, Bitcoin, when you're looking here at the shorter term time horizon, did discount this head and shoulders pattern, which is great. Was worried last week that we might see this play out, but it did not. We broke right above it. This did solidify a new higher low, I guess. And the nice thing here, and really what's encouraging to the overall uptrend that we're seeing right now, is the fact that this almost wasn't even a low, right? It was more of a plateau. It was more of sideways price action. We didn't dip down. We didn't retest even some of these initial levels on the shorter term uptrend. We went sideways, and that shows that the sellers of Bitcoin are really, really exhausted right now. Okay, there are not nearly as many sellers in this market as there are buyers. And once again, that is a matter of things looking up as far as the macroeconomic backdrop are concerned. The Fed, inflation slowing down, the Fed likely to slow down on interest rate hikes and get a little less offensive. At least that is the consensus right now. And again, there's a lot of institutional capital that wants to be put to work as well, which I actually will discuss right after this. Okay. So Bitcoin looking good, you guys. Let's zoom out a little bit here, get a little more macro just to set the grounds for what I believe will play out over the coming weeks, if not even months. And yeah, it's all promising, so that's good news. I can't remember if it was the last video on Bitcoin or the video before that, but for Bitcoin, there was an inverse head and shoulders pattern that I believed would play out, okay? And honestly, Bitcoin's really beating me to the punch. Bitcoin is exceeding expectations when it comes to potential upside price targets and, just price action in general. It's really been impressing even me, who was an optimist as we kicked off the new year. But, Bitcoin, Riot, Render, they're all exceeding my expectations personally. So not complaining about that. Hey, if there's going to be a time I'm proven wrong, it's, it's ideally this. So love to see it. And again, I think actually right now, the inverse head and shoulders pattern that I believed was likely to play out is although still possible, although you could say like that on this shoulder, this is the top end, which is kind of the range that we're in right now, right around 23K, the top end of this initial shoulder right over here, top end of that range. It is still possible that we bounce around sideways for a little bit and then come up to, this was a conservative resolution of this inverse head and shoulders. The real one would be, of course, at this candle wick high right. You can see this candle wick. Yeah, you guys know I never like taking single wicks into account. I do like finding multiple wicks when talking about target ranges or especially lines of resistance. But if this head and shoulders pattern really does play out, if we do come down a little bit, test at the $21,000 region again, bounce sideways, I do think it's possible for sure to come up to 25K, break back above 25K to test the candle wick high of this, of course, this opposing shoulder. But really, what I think is more likely now, given the momentum of the markets, given the momentum that the bulls have right now, especially in growth stocks, I do think it's very, very possible that we end up testing right here, which has been, my bounce target for quite a while. We almost got here back in August of 2022, but we have not tested this yet. And this is a level, that level being, of course, the prior low on the overall downtrend that has not yet been tested. And I think it's extremely likely that that is the next stop for Bitcoin. Okay, so target for Bitcoin right now is going to be $26,700. And again, we will see some resistance there. Bitcoin and crypto really trade close to, I see more trading on candle wicks themselves in Bitcoin and crypto than most assets for sure. But, every trader is going to be looking at this, and I do think it's very, very likely that Bitcoin comes up to at least $26,800, which would give us, get a little price range in here real quick, about 17% of upside from here. And of course, if Bitcoin's doing that well, Riot, Render, they're going to be doing even better. Okay, so excited to see what happens there. Let's dive in to Riot and talk to you guys about where I think the second wave is going to take us. Okay, so let's go to the 4 hours to get a little more. As you guys know, 4-hour candles are my personal favorites. I guess candle time frame to go off of medium-term price action on. And right now, 4-hour candles are really reinforcing the fact that we will see this second wave. So, you know what, you guys, before we discuss Riot and finish off with Render, I do want to read over this morning's newsletter, cover a bit of the macro, cover a bit of my take on the markets right now and just how I'm trading these markets to kind of set the stage for what I'm about to say and, my view on the target range once it's achieved, once and if it's achieved for Riot Blockchain. Okay, so let's get to reading. It's Monday. The markets are on fire once again as we kick off the final trading week of January. As we closed out 2022, we were confident that the January effect would be especially relevant in 2023, given the macro backdrop and the extreme sell-off in December. I'm proud to say that we were very correct about this thesis, and I'm even prouder to say that we were extremely well positioned for it to come to fruition. As you know, all of our call options were well in the green, but to highlight a few of the Wave's portfolio MVPs as of today, the time I'm writing this, you guys, if you got in on these Riot calls in some of our earlier videos at the beginning of the year, the beginning of January, even as we closed out 2022, we timed out the Riot position. I believe we established a lot of these Riot call options at definitely sub $4, but I think it was in like 350 to 360 region. So those calls, Riot Blockchain, February 17th calls are up 740% since inception. Plug Power calls, just to talk about some of our MVPs, Plug Power calls are up 520%. And my personal number one pick, because I do think it's going to see a hype cycle, C3 AI Inc. Those calls on February 17th in the Waves portfolio are up 275% since inception. And especially with this one, I do think it's just the beginning. So very excited, you guys. Again, let me know in the comments down below if you're part of Waves Capital, if you are following the Waves portfolio, if you're subscribed to the daily newsletters. Let me know if you have gotten in on some of these trades. And if so, congrats to you. So we've taken some very meaningful profits along the way, and I will continue to take profits on big days like today in order to practice responsible portfolio management. And again, you guys, especially now that times are starting to get good again, things are getting exciting. It's more critical than ever to not get greedy. Okay, so always remember that, you guys, do not get greedy. That said, the month isn't over just yet, and I still think some of our favorite small caps and growth stocks have further room to climb. The second wave is here, and as you guys know, did throw on, I'm sure you've noticed by now, did throw on the wave shirt for the occasion. And, you know, I'll discuss this because this is actually a huge factor. Not gonna discuss this too much, but you guys, on top of the short-term momentum heavily favoring the bulls, I'm even more confident about continued upside as we approach February because both the S&P 500 and the NASDAQ 100 have officially broken above their lines of macro resistance today. So S&P 500 broke and closed the day above the line of resistance that's been in play for over a year. The NASDAQ doing exactly the same. And, you know, this is a big deal technically, you guys. Every trader, every quant on the planet is aware of this breakout. And as we discussed last week, as I kind of just implied at the beginning of this video, there are record amounts of institutional capital that are on the sidelines that are waiting to be deployed. And, you know, they see these trend lines breaking. Again, so much of trading in institutions and hedge funds is now quantitative. Therefore, they are all eyeballing this very, very evident trend line. And right now, we are technically in a macro breakout. There is a macro reversal to the upside. The downtrend, unless this is a bull trap, which is always possible, has been officially broken. And this is very, very, very good news, okay? So I never expect any ride to be completely smooth, but I do expect this bullish trend to continue over the short to medium term. And I'm pumped to ride wave 2 with all of you. So cheers, team. Again, let me know in the comments down below if you got in on some of these trades. Of course, won't be talking the specifics of the portfolio today out of respect for existing members and subscribers. But if you guys want to join Waves Capital for real, if you want to trade along with me on a daily basis or don't, I never want you guys to directly copy me. But if you want to know what I'm doing, if you want to learn from my successes, learn from my failures, that is going to be the first link in the description box down below. My complete portfolio and daily newsletter. You receive everything that this little box right here entails. 15 bucks a month, 40 bucks for every 3 months. You can even try free for 7 days. And if you don't like it, it's all good. Just leave. But I trust that you guys will be sticking around. Things are getting super exciting. The second wave is here. And again, even once this second wave ends in the short term, there's always a bull market somewhere. And, you know, Waves Cap is pretty damn good at finding those bull markets. Okay, so I look forward to seeing you guys in here. If not, though, no worries at all. I appreciate you for watching this video. Let's talk about where the second wave for Riot may be taking us, okay? So, again, Riot Blockchain, since the low we saw in late December, again, really plateauing here in late December as we saw a lot of that tax loss harvesting, a lot of despair happened right around here in the mid $3 region. Since that low, as we kicked off the new year, even going into early January, we are now up 95%. Let's see where did those candle wick highs get. Yep. So the candle wick highs and even where we tested today at one point got us to a cool 2x from the lows in just a few weeks, which is absolutely amazing. And again, you guys, I'm very proud of how, you know, we're always bullish on Riot, but as far as like specificity goes and like really how we've called some of the outcomes that have played out, and we'll see this in render as well, we've done a pretty damn good job. So I'm proud of that. Of course, money was where my mouth is. And again, our Riot position in the portfolio right now, up as of today, 740%. So, you know, you take big risks, you get rewarded big time. And I can confidently say that in my mind, this wasn't that big of a risk because I was confident in a reversal and the January effect occurring once again. And I'm sure many of you guys feel the same. But my target range for Riot on the second wave is exactly where it's been. Since my target range over the past month has stayed the same. And I will say that I have taken some profits on Riot. I did take some profits last week as we initially tested my initial target, not my target range, but my initial short-term target level of 665, which we pretty much perfectly tested. So I sold, for full transparency, I believe like 20 to 25% of my position there. Again, pretty much paid off the entirety of the position. Did actually still in profits because this position, again, has 8x to this point. So, you guys, that's the beauty of taking profits along the way, not getting greedy once again. Is even if you have strong conviction like I do, that these target ranges will still be achieved, don't get greedy, take some profits, pay off the position in full, especially if you've seen gains like this. And, you know, the rest is on the house at this point, okay? So, Again, target range is exactly where it's been. The reason my target range is from 770 to 820 is because this is a historical level for Riot. And this is also a large gap area for Riot from 775 to 825. Okay, so my target range for Riot Blockchain is where it stands at 770 to 820. I will be taking significant profits once we hit the $8 range. I will say safely, I do think safely, oh my gosh, why do I keep doing that? I do think that it is safe to say that Riot can see $8 plus. But again, you guys, once we hit the low end of my target range, 775, shave off 10%. $8, shave off another 10%. Once we hit 820, shave off another 10%. And because Bitcoin is looking so strong once again, because the bulls are back, because because institutions are beginning to deploy so much capital. And again, you guys, especially with stocks the size of Riot, $1 billion, which is heavily favored by institutions, which big banks love Riot Blockchain. It doesn't take much. In the grand scheme of things, $1 billion is so little. Is so little from an institutional level that things, especially small caps, which is why we've been persistently bullish and so confident in the performance of small caps in 2023, overly beaten down valuations for these hyper growth companies that are scaling at crazy paces. Like really good companies have gotten overly beaten down. And, you got to look for those gems, those diamonds in the rough that institutions will like, which is really the reason a big reason I like Riot, big reason I like Render. Many of the names that we cover on the channel here, I'm like just scrolling past. I'm not going to shout out specifics, but, many of these that we have positions in, they're crushing it for us. And, again, a big, one of the characteristics of stocks, of course, potential for acquisition of stocks, small market caps, are names that institutional players like, the big banks like, that hedge funds like. That's where you have to target. And that's where, especially if you're trading call options on these things, those life-changing gains are possible. Okay, so Riot Blockchain, this is my target range. I'm not going to discount the fact at all that this could go much higher. If we do go higher, we will definitely see some resistance around that previous the August rally area, around $10 psychological even as well. But you know what? In all honesty, I wouldn't be surprised either if we see Riot come up to test, similar to Bitcoin, those macro levels, come up to test on the second wave. Because if we see $8, that would lead to a fair second wave, not much greater than the first wave. But if we come up to here, that would look a little more real when it comes to the second waves that we know and love. So that would lead us to a 2x from here, of course, because that would take us to about $13, which is the candle wick low of the previous low of the macro downtrend. That low coming in the beginning of 2021, almost a year ago now. But you know what? I think it's possible. If you guys have been following along on the Riot journey, if you guys watched that 2022 recap video for Riot Blockchain, where we watched their progress video, you would know why I hold so much confidence in Riot, and why, especially given what's happened in this stock and many other stocks like it, of course, most growth stocks in general, small caps and growth stocks. I wouldn't be surprised to see a rally to at least, some annual highs, all right, some 365-day highs. So, is $13 possible come the springtime? I absolutely think so. But again, still, if you guys have call options on Riot, if your call options are going ballistic like some of ours are over a Waves cap, never be afraid to take some profits, even again, if it's just shaving 10, 20% off with every meaningful move to the upside. Okay, so that's Riot Blockchain. Please let me know where you think Riot can go over the coming months. Again, always interested in your guys' rationale and price targets there. So give me your 2 cents. Render token looking freaking amazing. And so again, you guys, Riot, we just covered Render not too long ago in our recent crypto video, Solana, Decentraland, and Render, I believe it was. And again, Riot continues to beat me to the punch. Render continues to beat me to the punch. Render looking amazing. Render has achieved our target range. I'm going to reference the price targets newsletter. Of course, again, you guys, this is the Trade Alert newsletter. Release one of these every trading day during market hours. And this is what the price targets newsletter looks like. So do you want to reference the price targets newsletter from last Friday? Because we called it pretty damn well. And this came to, again, beating me to the punch in the best of ways. So Bitcoin is looking good. Render is looking like an absolute stud. Estimated an 80+ cent render. by mid-February when we last covered it. But our number one pick of 2023 looks to be proving me wrong in the best of ways. I do believe we'll experience some resistance around this 80 to 90 cent region. And if we reference render right now, you can see that, gosh, I'm pressing Command Z, you guys. I'm sorry it keeps doing that. But as you can see, as we're floating around this 80 cent region, the low end of my range, we have not yet closed in the past like 12 hours, a candle wick above this. So this is definitely proving to be resistance very cleanly. At the moment, we are above it. And again, you guys, just given the momentum of the market, given the volume we're seeing in render right now, what's the volume? So we're at 6 mil volume on render when average volume is 3.5 mil. That's an amazing jump in volume. And again, volume, especially when it comes to a little off right here, volume when it comes to small market cap things like Riot. Again, Riot at $1 billion market cap. Render, I believe, at like a market cap of maybe $150, $200 million after this rally. That's lunch money, you guys. And Render token, as we're about to read here, Render is loved by big money. And that's one of the major reasons, once again, that I found it attractive in the first place. And it's a great attribute to have now that the markets are flipping back in favor of the bulls. You guys know this, $40 per token, discussed this many times in many of my Render videos, but a $10 billion market cap is still a ways away. Again, I don't think that's coming this year. Hey, maybe 2024, 2025, but I believe that these are the ripples of the waves that will take us there. And I trust that you'll be celebrating with me this weekend. And cheers to another amazing weekend. This was Friday. And, just to show you guys, this is the example of the daily price targets newsletter that I send out as well. So if you guys want daily updates on things like, Riot, SoFi, some of our other names, some of our AI plays, and of course, Render and all the other growth stocks that we cover and trade on a daily basis, that is going to be part of the portfolio as well. So everything for a pretty damn reasonable price in my opinion. And that is, of course, by design. I kind of want to make it cheap, especially because a lot of you guys watch the videos and stuff as well. So yeah, Render, not much to say here, you guys. I mean, it did achieve our target range. The second wave is initiated. Volume is picking up. That's amazing to see because, again, price action ultimately leads to discovery, ultimately leads to learning about a great project like Render, and ultimately leads to, second waves being pretty damn impressive. So we'll call it there, you guys. Again, top end of my short-term target range for Render, 90 cents. Wouldn't be surprised in the slightest if we hit the $1 region and then maybe go sideways around there for a bit. But Render, I mean, considering my long-term price target is $40 per token, the short-term day-to-day price action really means nothing. But we still love to see it performing well. We love to see some of our favorite names in the market performing well. And again, you guys, I'm just pumped that the bulls are back. So let me know how you're feeling about the markets right now. Again, cheers to you if you got in on some of these amazing trades and if you are riding the waves with us. Waves, brand new neon sign from the lady as an anniversary present. So, we're moving forward. The waves are going to keep coming. And I look forward to riding them with you guys once again. So I will see you guys down in the comments below. And, I'll see you guys in the newsletter if you are subscribed. Until next time, always remember, take action, make waves. Peace.